Ahoy there. Welcome to this new series of a different kind than what you have seen on this channel so far. So as you can see behind me, I am done filming the first episode of this series, and I didn't like the introduction, so I'm doing it again. This series will basically be a code-through series, which means that it's not meant to be a tutorial first, in the sense that I won't be explaining each and every line that I'm coding, but instead it is a more casual content, I would say, both to make and to watch. The reasoning behind making this content is that I actually think that people will be able to watch this or listen to this as a background noise or in a second screen while you're doing something else, to kind of have a, I want to say, a chill Lofi setting, right? So I actually have someone who named this game dev ASMR. Well, eventually. But the point is, yeah, it's kind of a story which is all about the process of making a game and what are the different things which happen when you make a game. What's funny, what's interesting, what are the problems, etc., etc. So there are many reasons why I'm interested in making this kind of content. It's actually something that's missing on YouTube, I guess. I actually like to watch rediffusions of dev streams, because I find that it's actually easier for me to get in the mood of working on game dev when I actually have something around me or someone around me that's kind of in the same mood as me, which is coding, being productive and doing games. So I'm kind of bringing my own version of that, which is a very much chiller version of this, with kind of a storytelling of me basically just describing my decisions. And that's pretty much the main difference there is with a tutorial series. I will have a way much slower pace, because the point isn't to get your brain fully focused on what's happening. Instead, it's more of a ambient sound, and then you have the storytelling explaining to you what's happening, if you actually want to follow what's happening. But at the same time, if you actually miss quite a lot of time for a few reasons, it's gonna be okay, because you don't need to have listened to everything to understand what's going to come next. So that's pretty much it, right? This is a pilot episode, it's a test. I actually want to see how this is going to be received. If you guys find this interesting, and that's it. So I will let you jump to the episode, which is a little bit longer than what I expected, because I actually wanted to finish a whole chapter, which is behind me right now. And since it is a pilot, I think it's okay to be longer, but otherwise I would go with much shorter episodes, I guess. As for the music, I don't remember if that was if that was an introduction which I cut, but basically I don't know yet if I do want to add the music, so I will put the music, and then if it's bad, I will probably remove it. So yeah, I need to jump to the episode and I will see you later. So let's start actually by making things very simple. I will start Godot and I will create a project, and yeah, that's it. I will just start the project and I'll get the ball rolling and see what happens. I actually don't know how I want to name this project, because I could find a name based on the idea, but the idea in and of itself doesn't have a clear theme. It's more of a gameplay mechanic. So I think I'm gonna name this, I don't know. Let me think. I was thinking about Project Chill Out, because this is what I want this series to be, really. Coding in a Lofi, chill ambience. That's gonna be something like this. So obviously, the very first thing I'm gonna do is set up a simple version control. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we do have the first comment. So now I will simply just do my usual Godot configuration so that I can have the template I like to use. So I actually plan to make some episodes in live streams, actually, because that's that can be more interesting, I guess, to be able to have the kind of interaction. And I've recently been watching some co-working streams, right? So this is a friend of mine, she does that, and it's actually very nice to have some time you can kind of spend working while you kind of reproduce very badly, but it's like being in a co-working space, which I miss very much since I've last been in one, which is a very long time ago. It's been before 2020 now. So yeah, maybe I will be doing that. Live dev streams are actually nice, I guess. So I do have my basic folders and settings. I just need to restart, if I remember correctly. Well, anyway, I'll just be restarting now. I actually already did it. Okay. So I deleted the icon, so I guess I need to find a new one for this project. So I will be looking for an icon. So I don't know what I'm looking for. I just look at the recent icons. If something seems interesting to me. Actually, that music note is funny. Yeah, let's go with this music note. I don't know. Maybe that will remind me that it's the only project I'm using music in on the channel. Okay, so we do have a game icon and the project settings ready. So for this project, the idea I had basically was to have a heavy focus on crafting. And I don't mean crafting in the general sense of idle games, where you basically craft tons of stuff all the time, and the goal is to make crafting lines. Not that kind of crafting, pretty much the equipment crafting, where you will be manually, I guess, trying to create pieces of equipment of high quality with the good rolls. So this comes from the game Path of Exile. And Path of Exile has a very complex crafting system, which is, in my opinion, very interesting. However, it can become tiresome in the actual game sometimes, because in order to craft, you need the crafting materials. And in order to get the crafting materials, you need to basically loot those. So while it's actually a good game design in general, I used to play Path of Exile on hardcore. So because of that, I end up never seeing the last portion of the game, simply because I died before that portion of the game. So I never really get to enjoy the crafting of the game. And if you ask me and say to me that I just should create a non-hardcore character, I would say yes, sure, of course, but the problem is that for some reasons when I'm not playing on hardcore, the game's just so boring, because I'm just rushing through it and basically banging my head against the walls dying again and again until it passes, which is pretty much how the game is designed for the huge first portion of the game. So anyway, that will be a big aspect of the game. And of course, as I want to be doing some crafting, I will need to make things that make this crafting relevant, right? So that you can sort of see how the time you spent on crafting is actually having impact by increasing whatever things. So for that matter, I was actually thinking that a combat system would be interesting, but I don't want it to be at the center of the game. And in fact, I don't want it to be something that you have to spend too much time on manually. So I was thinking of a kind of idle combat thing where the choices and decisions you make will basically be around setting the AI of your character so that the combat is running smoothly behind while you are doing other things, like either doing something in real life or just crafting or whatever. That's the first thing. Another thing I would like to make in this game, I guess, is the concept of having your character being employed at doing something, sort of. So while you could have some passive generating or passive generators, I think that it would be an interesting concept to kind of have your character being locked up to being able to do one task at a time. Whether it is combating or doing some other tasks which could on the end generate crafting resources. So yeah, because of that, I actually will create a map. So I actually don't intend to make a map by creating a huge texture and creating areas, kind of like the interactive map videos I've made. Instead, I will be using a system I've been working on quite a while ago. Well, not so long ago, but which is about how to make a map only using interface nodes by using a grid, basically. Using a grid to create this kind of tile system, I guess. And you do get to choose a tile that you want to make a location, and you give it a texture, simple texture, a good tooltip, and that's pretty much it. And then you have different tiles which are going to be connected by lines, and that's how the map works. So I'm not so sure how I want to start the game right now, because I could be working with the crafting and the equipments first, but I think I will actually be making the combat simulator first, because basically here it's gonna be kind of an idle game, I guess, even though it's mostly meant to be a crafting game. It's still gonna be idle, and in my opinion, making an idle game, it's actually important to define a main progression metric. Okay, so You should have something in your game that is the main thing the player is looking at to define progression. And here, I think that the main progression metric is going to be the exploration. The exploration as in when you do complete a certain amount of kill counts in an area, or that you complete some specific quests, you do get to move to new areas, new locations, and have tougher enemies. That's pretty basic. And I think I'm gonna do that for the main metric. And then, of course, this will go further and combat will be easier with the help of the gear you craft. So I think I'm gonna start with something very simple. I'm just gonna make my usual game node, game singleton. That will be a good start, I guess. So this is my current singleton definition. I actually haven't seen any other way to do it yet. So if you do, feel free to share that with me. But in the meantime, I'll be using this. So now that I have my game singleton, I will make a simple, basic user interface to basically display the combat happening. I actually have to check if enemy takes 1 or 2 N. It only takes 1, it's in French, it takes 2. Alright, so we do have a very basic thing to display an opponent. So I didn't use a progress bar yet because I don't need to. I will just use a label. So we need to apply some minimum size for this vertical box, and horizontal minimum size because that will allow us to basically size the texture. I will use a default texture at the moment. So we already did something like that in the Poke Clicker series, where we actually had to make this health display centered, even though the current health will get shorter than the max health. We did that, so it's not that complicated, but it's definitely not necessary now. So I'm just gonna go fetch a texture. So here we have creature and monster textures. I don't know what theme I want to use for the game. Well, this guy actually, I already use it. I used it sometime, but the point is it's a full body and it's pretty generic, so I'm gonna take this guy. So obviously here our little guy is a little bit too big, so I'm just gonna change the stretch mode to the expand mode to fit wide or not, fit height. Yeah, that's fit height and scale. It's actually quite big. Maybe I will downsize it a little bit. Well, actually, I do want the labels to be 320 wide, but I'm just gonna give a minimum size to the texture, which is gonna be minimum or actual size, because if I set minimum, it will actually, well, I can change the anchor. So here, horizontal anchor will be, okay, that's better. So now that we have an opponent, we will just add a simple attack timer. Do I actually want to put the logic script in there. Yes, it's a prototype. So I guess I'm gonna create just a few variables for the max health, current health, etc. I will keep the damages of the player random between 1 and 3 at the moment. We will later on make a skill system that will allow us to deal some different amount of damages based on the equipment and what skill the player is using. Okay, I actually need to check the time we've been recording. Okay, so I can go for something around 40 minutes, yeah, still. So I will create a few variables. I will initialize those values, and I actually took the habit recently of using a get nodes method instead of using expert tags. Basically because it's easier for me to see when I forget something, because I'm the kind of guy who's got their head in the script, and I pretty much watch the script only, so when I have editor settings I tend to forget about it. So I used to do that, and the other reason why is because it allows viewers who just read the script basically and skip time to basically not skip this node assignment. Right, so this is why I will be doing this get nodes thing. So I already see that this is pretty pointless to have this initialize labels method, because I will need to update the health very often, so that will need to be in its own method. So I guess I'm just gonna move this away. Well, do I actually... I could make this in many different ways. I'm just gonna make an update health label method. It's kind of weird, because on one hand I'm being very thorough, and on the other hand I'm making some shortcuts. I guess those are fine. So I actually need to grab the timer as well, because as I said, I will be binding this little guy manually here. I will actually rename initialize labels to initialize nodes, because we will also initialize the timer as well. Well, I also often like to have a connect signals method. Yeah, I will do this one as well, even though we have only one signal. It's just good to have those. So as you have now a timer, and I've been connecting the timer to a method that I need to create. Yeah, I will have to apply the damages to our opponent, so I will do that right away. I'm kind of trying to keep you updated verbally to what's happening, because yeah, you're probably not watching, so okay, so I made this method very simple. If the current health drops lower than 0, at the moment we will not do anything like gaining XP, looting, whatever. We will simply reset back to max bells instead. So maybe we can actually just start this and see how this is going. I just need to get the timer started because it's not on auto start. Okay, so yeah, I guess we can try this. However, it doesn't work. Interesting. So how bad guy does have 10 HPs all the time. We connect signals, we connect timeout, we start it, and we apply the matches. That's a little bit weird. Let's see if we do go through apply the matches. Yep, we do. But why are the damages not? Oh wait, we do. We just don't update the label. What am I doing? So here we just have to update the health label. Okay, that should be working now. Okay, great. Cool. So now that we actually have default combat, actually it's not, we don't have enough features yet to test effectively the effects of items, but we do have something to look at. So what I'm gonna do is start doing items, and I will actually make a few weapons so that we can later on apply the effects of those weapons and see how this is impacting the combat. So yeah, we still have time. Do I actually want my abstract in another root folder? That could be something, I guess. Or the question is, do I actually want the abstract of my resources within the resources folder, or do I want it in an abstract folder? I'm not sure. I put it in my scripts at the moment. Okay, so I already anticipate that we will create different item types, right? Because we will have crafting items and we will have weapons and armors that we will be updating, upgrading. So right now I already can tell that we will have an item class that will be inherited by all items, and then we will have a weapon class that will be inherited by only weapons. So I could be doing the abstracts for both item and weapon right now. However, I will instead I will do that, but in a very light way. So I will have a base item that will be very, very basic. And then I will work on the first weapons. And here I will make this item a resource. So I'm still not very comfortable with resources yet, but I do believe that I actually have to make exports for the values that I want to change, but I can technically add methods to this item. So for example, let's say that I do a max count property to it to tell basically how many times I can stack my item. This will be exported, but then I will have a method which will be can stack, which will return a boolean that will return true or false based on if the max stack is 1 or higher than 1. And this I don't necessarily need to export, but I will be able to access everywhere else. So let's see how this turns out. I think it's interesting to have default values to resources. I don't know. Probably. Okay, so this is the can't stack method. So this should work, I guess. I never tried this, so that will be first time. And now I can actually work on making the weapon abstract. Now we should be able to extend the item resource and to actually get all the previous properties. So weapons at the moment they will be very simple. There will be a minimum physical damage as well as a maximum physical damage. Another way to put that, I guess, is to have this damage stored in a vector 2. Yeah, let's do that. So by default, if nothing is said, the damages will be 1-1. So maybe now we can try creating a weapon. So I will find I already have a rusty sword texture in my folders, so I will just bring it to the game. Which reminds me now that I actually didn't put any line for the texture, so I will do that. I could have a default texture for items, right? A kind of debug texture, but not yet. So yeah, I think I have everything I need to create my weapon. So we correctly have both the vector 2 for the damage and the name in max count slots and the texture slot. So this is great. So the first item that I will do will have a random damage between 1 and 3. It can't be stacked. That will be named Rusty Sword, and that will have the right texture. Okay, that's great. So we are close to the 40 minutes I was talking about for the first episode duration. Since it is a pilot, I will actually get this rolling longer. So yeah, I will keep rolling. And now that I do have an item, I think I will make a very, very, very simple inventory and equip system. I don't know how long that will take. Well, let's go with that. So this is a prototype view, right? So I'm not gonna indulge in doing the entire super complex system, but yeah, I will create a component, and that component will be able to display our item. So I think we could work on the tooltip as well. That will come later, I guess. I think it would be interesting to start listing the features I want to make. Do I want to do that because it's still a prototype, not the game itself? Probably not yet. It's too early to list those things. So yeah, I'm gonna work on the slots. I think that 64 pixels for the square is cool. That's probably great. And I want this to be a panel with rounded corner. That's a nice panel. I'm wondering if I want to save this component within the component folder, because it is a prototype. So maybe it could fit within a prototype folder itself. Now let's put it in components. So what I will do is, wait, I must not load this yet. What I will do is I will just have a slot inventory on the side, and I will have a equipment slot, which I will be able to drag the rusty sword in. So at the moment, yes. I'm not sure how to put word on that, but I will just work on the reload of the slots. Okay, so at the moment the slot reloads to basically allow to update the texture and the tooltip based on the content, the item content. And what I will do is I will manually instance one of the slots in my prototype. So because we have actually a center container, I must change the way the scene is made. So I will probably use a horizontal box container to have my inventory on the side and keep the center thing somewhere else. So this is how you actually change the root node if you've never seen that. a bit excessive, but I do have a huge panel just to handle one slot. And in fact, I have to think about where I will have the inventory and the equipment. So at the moment I think, okay, I just got an idea. I will split this panel in two and have the inventory at the top and the equipment at the bottom, or reverse, anyway. Does equipment take an E after the P? Yeah, I thought it doesn't. Okay, so we do have the two slots. What I will do is I will just manually, with the script, initialize the sword in this guy, and the other one I will do nothing yet. I just realized that because we moved the root and the node and stuff, I actually decided to make all the nodes I fetch as unique to make the get nodes working again without too much trouble. And I will move the script to the root of the prototype. Okay, so what we did earlier should work. Now I just need to fetch the inventory slots. And I can use the inject data thing that I have in my initialize nodes. That's great. I actually want to check if this works, because I changed a lot of things and I actually wonder if this is still working. I think I forgot something. Whoop, losing the eBud. So let's just go back to that. Okay, so now we have the item here, so all I will do is I will just make a very messy drag and drop to be able to move that to the other slot. And then I will change the damages based on the equipped thing. So if we do equip a weapon, I will have the damages of the weapon. Otherwise, I will have 1 damage. That seems fair. So first I need to make a drag and drop system. Okay, so this is the messiest drag and drop thing I have ever seen, but we get the item and then we accept anything and we inject the data when we receive it. So here it should work because we only work with items. So I just should be able to move it from yes. Huh. Okay, so for this matter, I have an idea. Because, okay, so if you're not watching, what just happened is that when I moved one item to the other box, it duplicated. So I actually need to get the item out as well as making the item in null. So I will just change that. Okay, I forgot to reload. Okay, so I can technically lose the item if I drag it and can't drop it. I actually want to see that. So here it's in the other slot, great, and there it's gone. right? So now I can actually work with the equipment slots. So what I will do is I will check when it's reloaded, and when that happens I will update the damages. So I must first change the way I manage damages, right? I need variable for the damages, and I need to be able to update that. I was thinking I will actually need a signal for the prototype slot to tell that it's been reloaded, and eventually the item value changed. So yeah, I'm gonna signal when it's reloaded. It is starting to get messy, but that's the prototype. Okay, so here I'm accessing a private variable, so I'm actually gonna fix that by making the item public. I think I changed all the necessary lines. So I tried something. I actually wanted to see if the item that I've stored is a weapon, but I actually don't know if the code will notice that, because I never specified that the item was a weapon, except that when I made the resource. So, I will actually put the debug here and, well, run the scene and see how this is going. So right now I should have only, oh wait, I forgot to change the image application. Okay, so now the damage application should be matched, well, should be matching the damage property. So let's see. First we have only one damage. Okay, and then when I move the sword, I should have my breakpoints. Okay, and now the damages are updated. So I skip. And I actually have random damages. So if I take the swords out, I should go back to 1 damage. wow, it's actually working pretty nicely. I'm very satisfied about it. Doesn't show it, but yeah, I'm very happy. So this is gonna be everything we will have on this first episode. So again, this is a pilot episode, so please make sure to have feedbacks about it, about anything, whether you like it, whether you actually wouldn't consume that kind of content, or if the music is not appropriate, too loud, too low, so whatever. Thank you for watching it this far. Again, I made it last a little bit longer because this is the pilot, so I think it can be longer, and I really did want to finish this feature. So yeah, I really hope you like that, because that was actually very fun to make and very relaxing to make. Eventually this could help you code and make your game in a more relaxing setting, so that it's less tensed and frustrating. Right. I'll see you later, and hoping for some feedbacks.